Today we are making a video on Fedora 38 XFCE desktop spin. Here is the boot menu of Fedora Linux 38 XFCE, and here is the boot menu. Let me boot it in a live mode. Fedora Linux 38 was released yesterday, so a lot of people already know, and I already made a lot of videos on Fedora 38, which is a pre-release, a beta version or development versions, all those things. So if you want to watch that, you can watch it. If you don't want to watch that, there is also a stable version. Today there's also we have a stable version, so it's better to watch a stable version instead of old videos. So again, I forgot to mention that I'm running it on a virtualization, which is a VMware with 4 GB of RAM, 80 GB of hard disk, and with 2 processors running. So we should be having our desktop layout almost in a few seconds. And here you can see it's a Fedora logo loading. Usually it takes like a minute maximum to load a Linux distro desktop. So maximum should be 1 minute, or minimum should be like a 30 to 40 seconds. Most of the Linux distros will be loaded up in like 30 to 40 seconds. Only few weird Linux distros like a Deepin Linux or some other Linux distros will take a lot of time to boot up. So usually the normal or a high rated or a best Linux distros will always load like a 30 to 40 seconds. So we should be having our Fedora Linux 38 loaded up in a few seconds, because it's taking just under like a 30 seconds. As you can see, here is a mouse pointer running. It just took like a 25 seconds, I guess, nothing more than that. So let me change the display resolution, because I'm running a VMware, so it automatically changes the display resolution. If you want to change the display resolution, just go to the application menu and go to settings and change the displays here. You can change the display settings here. If you can't see the text size of 1920 into 1080, you can change or scale by going to applications and go to settings and go to appearance and go to settings here and change the window scaling to 2x. It's going to show a big fonts and big size of a text. So if you can't properly see, you can change like this. So I'm good with the 1920 into 1080 with the 1x window scaling. So let me open the system monitor first, and we should be having an idea of how much resources will consume before and after. Right now it's taking like 11% of a CPU. Just ignore my mouse and the keyboard sounds and some background noises, because people around my neighborhood are crazy. So here is the CPU, and here are my memory. The RAM is almost 1 GB for under 4 GB, or 1 GB of 4 GB. It's almost a 916 MB right now. Just remember this thing, I'm going to open the task manager again at the end, or system monitor at the end. So you will be having an idea of how much resources will be consuming after opening the apps or running through all the settings, all the features which are available in a Fedora Linux 38 XFCE desktop spin. So these are all the processes running right now. If you can't remember this thing, write it down. If you can't write it down, just put the videos side by side of the beginning of the video and ending of the video, so you will be having exact numbers of memory consumption and a CPU. So let's check the version and close the system monitor. So let's open the terminal to get all the distro info. Again, this is a stable version of Fedora Linux 38 with the XFCE desktop spin. So if we don't have a bugs, you can go to installation. It's always better idea to always boot it in a live mode, because if we have a bug, say, you can even reboot and remove that things. If you already installed, you should be suffering from all the problems which or you should be facing all the problems. It's always better idea to boot it in a live mode. After you are satisfied with using live mode like a few hours, then go with the installation. If you are not satisfied, just delete the ISO file and wait for some other some days. They should be releasing like updates like that, so it's always better idea to wait for a few days. So here is the command to grab all the Linux distro info, inxi-sv8. You should type it in a command or a terminal. inxi not found because inxi is not installed. Let me install by typing sudo dnf install inxi. This is going to install the INXI. After the installation of INXI, we should be having our command, which is inxi-sv8. It's going to take a few seconds. Even XFCE is a lightweight desktop environment. It still takes a lot of time, you know. Instead of waiting for this, let's go through all the desktop features available right now. Here is the power of live system user, or power of options. Here is a calendar, time, and all these things. Here is a bell icon, which is do not disturb notification settings, all these things. Here is our battery or a power settings. Here is our volume rockers or a volume settings, audio mixer, all these things, and the network connection. Let's check the XFCE version or a panel version first. 4.18.3. The latest version of XFCE is 4.18.4, but we have just a 1 point update down, so nothing is wrong like that. So these are all the applications available right now, or pre-installed applications available in the XFCE version. As you can see, these are all the apps. As you can see, there are plenty of apps on the documentation XFCE. Let's check the XFCE version first. This is the version, or these are all the information. Kernel version is a 6.2.9-300 FC38 or 64-bit. Let's close this thing and let's go through all other things. System, these are the system apps. On the office, these are all the office apps. Multimedia apps on the internet, Firefox, some other apps, graphics, and these are all the apps available. So again, it's going to take a few more seconds. Instead of waiting, let's open a few other apps like a tuner file manager. Version is 4.18. What else we left? I'm going to show you. Let me launch the Firefox web browser and let me show you how to download the Fedora Linux 38 XFCE desktop spin. Usually Firefox browser should take like a 20 to 30 seconds to launch. So we should be having our Firefox browser. I opened the terminal, so it's going to take a few more seconds more, I guess. Here is our Firefox web browser, and also the terminal is also complete, I guess. So let me minimize the Firefox browser and let's continue with the terminal command. Is this okay to Y or N? Y means yes to install and N for no, no to install. I want to install it, so I'm going to click Y. For yes, it's going to install. It's going to take again a few more seconds. The GNOME desktop environment of a Fedora was pretty much fast, but the XFCE and KDE Plasma was the worst. I made a video yesterday. If you want to go check that out, you can check it out. In the GNOME desktop environment and the KDE Plasma desktop environment, the KDE Plasma was the worst. The mouse pointer was going crazy. It doesn't work properly. And on the XFCE, it's not that bit of a problem. It worked. It is just taking a few seconds or a delay, but it's working. So let's type in inxi-sv8 now. We should be having complete info of the distro. And here is our complete info. Let me try to change the background of the terminal or a command or a terminal by going to preference and appearance. I think it's a color, I guess. Let's load the preset, which is black and white. Let's close this thing, and now you can see properly. So ignore my keyboard sound, mouse sound, and some background noise, because people are always making noises here. The host is localhost live. Kernel is 6.2.9, which I already said. It's a 64-bit and 32-bit is not available in a Fedora Linux, so you should remember that. And a GCC compiler version 2.39-9, and XFCE version is a 4.18.1. GTK version is 3.24.36, and distro is a Fedora Linux 38. Light DM version is a 1.32.0, and I'm running it on a VMware, which is here you can see machine is a VMware, and BIOS Phoenix version will always be 6.00, and the RAM usage is almost a 1.72 GB, which is almost 45%, 0.1 for 4 GB of RAM. This is my CPU. If you want to check that out, you can check it out. Let's scroll it down and find some other info. and VMWGFX version is a 2.20.0, and displays X11. Server Xorg version is 1.20.14 or 1.14. XFWM version is 4.18.0. So these are the available display resolutions. And OpenGL version is 4.1, Mesa 23.0.1. So let's scroll it down and find other information. INXI version is 3.3.26, and shell bash version is 5.2.15 or 1.5. Processors running right now are 684. That is a lot of processors running right now. Uptime is 8 minutes. Usually it should be like a 200 or 300, but it is 684. That is weird. We don't know what happened there. Init systemd version is 253. Let's type in the same info command, but in a short form. For example, like INXI. We should provide the same info above these things in a short form. As you can see, let's type in another command, which is INXI-small b. Again, it's the same info, nothing changed, just in a short form. INXI-capital G. Again, same info. Let's type in cat:/etc/issue and hit enter. That's the info. So let's type in htop. If you want to install the neofetch, you can just type in sudo dnf install neofetch. If you want to install a htop, just type in sudo dnf install htop. I don't want to install the neofetch because we already have the full complete distro info. We don't need to install that. I typed "I", so it says error. So let's try to install it again. Sudo dnf install htop and click on enter. It should take a maximum of 20 seconds or minimum of 7 to 8 seconds. So we should be having our htop installed right now. Let's type in htop now. The RAM is almost 1.7 GB of 4 GB and the swap is 7.73 MB. Tasks are running right now are 102. Let's check the version of Kernel 1.0.4. Let me close this thing and let's go to the Firefox browser, which I already opened. So let's check the version and let me show you how to download the desktop spins of XFCE Fedora 38. So in order to get the desktop spins, every desktop spin available with a Fedora Linux 38, I will show you how to download that. Just type in Fedora 38 desktop spins, just like that. This is the search term you need to enter in your search engine. If it's Google, it's pretty much easy to find. If you're using a DuckDuckGo or start page, you should be finding the URL like this. So let's open. Whether even it's a beta version, I will show you how to remove that thing. You just need to remove the pre-release and delete the pre-release in the URL. Just type in this URL if you want, or just remove the pre-release and click on enter. And here you can see the Fedora 38 desktop spins, KDE Plasma desktop spin. The Fedora 38 GNOME desktop environment is available already. So these are the Fedora 38 other desktop spins. There are all desktop spins here. If you want, you can go through all these things. I made a KDE Plasma and GNOME desktop environment already. So if you want, you can check that out in my channel. Today we are making a XFCE. So let's click on XFCE. Scroll it down and you can see here download now. Click on download now. And the ISO file image is around 1.5 GB. For 64-bit PC, and you should remember that it's only available for 64-bit. There is no 32-bit. So click on download, and if you want to verify, you can verify that. And you should always see this thing like a Fedora 38 releases. If everything is correct, you can your download is correct. As you can see, Fedora XFCE live, which is 38 and everything is good. So here is the download. I'm using a VPN, so it should take a few more seconds, a few more minutes. So I'm just going to close it because we are already downloaded and we are already making a video on it. So this is the process of downloading the Fedora desktop spin, which is XFCE. Let me close this thing and let's try to open some other apps which are only the important apps. Let's open just the important apps, not every app. So let's see what else we have here. On the wallpapers or appearance, just same things, nothing changed. As you can see, icons, nothing changed. Maybe few things should be changed, but we have no info about what has been changed. Just the kernel, all these things they said. This is XFCE, so let's see. There's nothing, so let's close this thing and let's check the desktop wallpapers if there is any change or not. There's nothing changed. XFCE, let's go to backgrounds. Maybe this is just a Fedora 38 wallpaper, nothing changed other than that. So let's go to the applications. Let's see. There's no LibreOffice because I don't know why. Actual document viewer 1.26.0. What else we have? Some documents, dictionary. We don't need a dictionary. Apparel, media player. On the internet side, we have a. We already saw the Firefox. Just let's open the claw mail. On the graphic side, image viewer. On documentation, we saw the XFCE Genie. And on the accessories side, we have nothing, just a mousepad. I think we just have simple apps, nothing more than that, nothing fancy. You need to install on your own if you want anything. So that's the version of the mousepad, and this is the version of image viewer. Let me close and click on next. We need to provide our email. I don't want to, so let me close that. About the parallel media player, this is the version. Let's close this thing also and check the Genie version, which is 1.38. Let's close this thing and let me show you the installation process. I'm not going to install the Fedora Linux 38 XFCE desktop spin on my hard disk. I'm just going to give you information or just the process of installation. So after clicking on install button, it's going to take 10 seconds or 20 seconds to get the Anaconda installer or to launch the Anaconda installer. You need to first choose your language. For me, I'm going to choose English. You can choose United Kingdom, United States, any other languages available here. You can go to any settings. You can choose anything. Click on continue. It's a stable version also, but it's going to take a few seconds. So installation, this is my hard disk. You need to be careful what you're doing here, and it's going to erase everything. So it's a better idea or a better to get the information what you're doing here. So if you want to dual boot, you can dual boot. If you want to single boot, so be careful while choosing the partitions. So root account, you can enable root account by providing the password. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to provide the simple password. You need to provide the strong password because it's a safe and privacy thing. So double click when done, because if you're using a easy password, you need to type in done twice. Let's change the location. You can change your location. You don't need to provide the actual location. You can change any location by clicking on drop menu here, drop down menu, or you can type or click on any pointer like this. This is a New Zealand, Australia, and this is Los Angeles, Canada, all these things. I kept Los Angeles, America, so internet is connected. As you can see, click on done. User creation, you need to provide your username, password, all these things. You don't need to provide the actual username and password. You can provide anything you want. For example, I'm choosing a unboxing and a simple password. For example, for the sake of the video, I already said I'm going to choose a easy password. You should always give a strong password and always remember or write it down the password. It's always a better idea to write it down instead of scratching your head for the password. So these are all the settings you need to uh, provide for the installation process. There is nothing should be red text, everything should be black, and the begin installation button should be like a blue instead of grayed out. So if everything is okay with you, just go with the begin installation, clicking on begin installation. It's going to take like 10 to 15 minutes. If you have a good PC, it's going to take like 5 to 10 minutes. If you're having a low end PC, it's going to take 15 to 20 minutes or maybe more than that. So it all depends on the PC and the Linux distro. So after the installation, it's going to say it's finished and installed on your hard disk. If you choose the dual boot settings, you will be booting with 2 operating systems. If you choose the single everything erase disk, it's going to boot it in a single boot. So it's always better to wait for a few more days because we don't know if they have bugs or not. Even if you can't wait, you just try it on your own by booting it in a live mode. It's always better idea to boot it in a live mode. After you're satisfied, then go with the installation. I'm saying it again and again because it's going to ruin your PC, so I don't want you to ruin your PC. So that's the point here. So let's close the installation process and let's see what else we left. I think we got everything, so let's check the system monitor or the task manager, and the CPU is almost 40 to 50, under 50%. That's good. And the RAM is almost 1.3 GB, which before it was like a 800-900 MB. It's now 1.3 GB, just a 400 MB or 500 MB, and with a swap of 8 MB. So it's better you judge this Linux distro by seeing the resources. If you want to use this Linux distro, you can use it. If you don't want, you can just ignore it. So it's you to judge to use or not. So let me close this thing and let's go to the internet browser and end the video. I'm going to show you my channel because people who already subscribed, no need to watch this step. You just skip this step. People who don't want to subscribe and want to watch my content daily without missing, so you can just type in this URL like youtube.com/9to5linux. If you want to watch my content without subscribing, just type in this URL in your web browser. If you are using a web browser, you need to type in complete URL. If you are using a YouTube app, just type in 9to5linux in a TV, mobile or a tab. Just type in 9to5linux in a YouTube app, click on enter. I'm using a VPN, so it should take like a few seconds. And here is our channel, as you can see. I make 2 videos daily without missing any day. So I already made Tails 5.12 today. If you want to check that out, you can check that out after watching this video. So I will post 2 videos daily without missing any day. So I mentioned here, these are the timings you need to visit at these timings. The videos should be available before the timings because I'll put it in a premiere. So you should be having an idea of what content will be available that day. So here is the community page. Here is the latest news. I will be providing the latest news of the Linux packages or Linux distro. Any other news will be available here. So keep an eye on here. So if you want or if you are here only for the Linux content, just go to the playlist and you will be seeing a Linux playlist here. Click on view full playlist under a Linux playlist. It's going to open the complete videos of a Linux distro, whether it's a Linux laptops or a Linux distro, everything. I already made like a 1565 videos, which is almost 1.6k videos. That's a lot of videos. I covered every Linux distro or every variety or every different types of Linux distros, like 70 to 80% of Linux distros available in this world. So I covered everything. The Linux distro which you never heard, I made that content too, so you can go check that out. If you want to search with a specific term, for example like a Fedora, for example Fedora 38, we should open the latest videos. Click on enter. As you can see, here are the latest videos. As soon as the ISO file is released, whether it's a alpha version, beta version or a pre-release development, whatever the ISO file is released, as soon as the ISO file released, will be a content in my channel. You don't need to be waiting for the content. As soon as the files or the news is announced or released, I'll be making a content on it. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. If you don't want, it's clearly up to you. I'm going to respect your opinion, whether it's yes or no. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.